March 6, 2012. The knock on Mustafa Al-Bassam's door comes at 6:47 a.m. The 16-year-old is still in his pajamas when Metropolitan Police officers swarm his family's flat in South London, seizing laptops, hard drives, and phones. Half a world away in Manhattan's Lower East Side, Hector Xavier Monsegur sits at his FBI-monitored computer watching encrypted chat channels light up with panic. Arrests are happening simultaneously across 3 continents. Chicago, Dublin, London, San Francisco. The usernames he knows by heart are going dark one by one. Kayla, Topiary, Payan Sauce, AV Unit. And now tflow, the brilliant British teenager who trusted him completely. Sabu types nothing. He's been instructed to stay silent. Let the operation unfold. For 9 months, he's lived this double life, and now it's ending exactly as the FBI planned. In London, Mustafa's mother watches in confusion as officers photograph her son's bedroom, walls covered with programming books, a makeshift server rack humming in the corner. The teenager who was taking university-level computer science courses at 15 is being charged with conspiracy and computer fraud. He keeps asking the same question: how did they find us? The answer is 6 feet tall, Puerto Rican, and currently sipping coffee in a New York apartment under FBI protection. Sabu knows what comes next. Tomorrow, the headlines will scream about the Lulk takedown. His name will be attached to the biggest betrayal in hacking history. But tonight, he's thinking about his own children, the reason he made the deal that destroyed everyone else's. If you're enjoying this video, consider subscribing to Arxis for weekly cybercrime stories. Like, share, and drop a comment below from where you're watching from. Hector Xavier Monsegur never planned to become a hacker. Born in 1983 in New York City's Lower East Side, he grew up in the Jacob Ree housing projects where poverty wasn't just a statistic, it was daily reality. His parents struggled with heroin addiction. By his teens, Hector was essentially raising himself, learning computers at the local library because he couldn't afford his own. He discovered something crucial. Online, poverty was invisible. Technical skill was the only currency that mattered. By his 20s, Sabu had become Sabu, a respected name in the underground. He specialized in web application exploitation, SQL injection, and server penetration. But his hacking wasn't purely ideological. He sold access to compromised servers, making just enough to survive. Then his aunt died, and Hector became legal guardian to his 2 young nieces and infant nephew. Suddenly, this wasn't about politics or thrills. It was about keeping 3 kids fed and safe in government housing. The responsibility transformed him. Sabu became more careful, more strategic. He built relationships across hacking communities, anonymous operations, underground forums, and IRC channels where hackers coordinated attacks. He mentored younger hackers, sharing techniques and encouraging their skills. His apartment became a strange combination: children's toys scattered among servers and laptops, baby formula next to network cables. He'd put the kids to bed, then spend nights coordinating anonymous operations, attacking corporate websites, defacing government portals, fighting for transparency and against censorship. The irony never escaped him. He was breaking laws to provide for children, becoming a criminal to be a good father. By 2010, Sabu was one of the most influential voices in Anonymous, trusted by hackers worldwide. When someone proposed forming an elite offshoot, smaller, faster, more audacious than Anonymous's sprawling collective, Sabu was the obvious choice to help lead it. They called it LOL. It would be his undoing. Mustafa Al-Bassam was 14 when he first heard about Anonymous. Sitting in his family's London flat, the British-Iraqi teenager was already light years ahead of his classmates. While other kids played video games, Mustafa was exploiting them, finding vulnerabilities, reverse engineering protocols, teaching himself advanced computer science from online resources. His parents recognized his gift but couldn't fully understand it. How do you parent a child whose technical knowledge surpasses most university graduates? School bored him. Mustafa tested into university-level courses at 15, but even those felt slow. Online was where he found his tribe, IRC channels, where technical skill earned respect regardless of age or background. He adopted the handle tflow and dove deep into the hacking underground, not for money or malice, but for the intellectual challenge and the belonging. These people understood him. When Anonymous began gaining attention for operations against Scientology and corrupt corporations, Mustafa was fascinated. This wasn't just hacking. It was hacking with purpose, activism through technical skill. He contributed small things at first: loic attacks, website defacements, reconnaissance on targets. The Anonymous collective was chaotic and sprawling, but within it were smaller groups, more skilled operators. That's where he encountered Sabu, an experienced hacker who seemed to genuinely care about helping younger members develop their skills. Sabu answered questions, shared techniques, encouraged ambition. For a 15-year-old genius who felt isolated in the physical world, this mentorship meant everything. When Sabu and others proposed forming LOL in May 2011, a smaller elite crew that would pull off spectacular hacks, Mustafa immediately wanted in. He was young, brilliant, and hungry to prove himself. Sabu vouched for him. The founding members agreed. tflow was in. None of them knew they were being watched. None of them knew that within weeks, Sabu would be sitting across from FBI agents making a deal that would destroy them all. And Mustafa, just 16 years old, was about to become one of the most wanted hackers in the world. May 6, 2011, LOL announces itself to the world with a hack of Fox.com leaking usernames and passwords from X Factor contestants. The message is clear. They're not script kiddies or attention seekers. They're technically sophisticated, irreverent, and here for the lols. The core crew assembles in private IRC channels. Sabu as the experienced leader, Topiary as the public voice, and Kayla as the SQL injection specialist. AV Unit, Pwn Sauce, and tflow the youngest member. Bringing raw technical brilliance and fearless ambition, what follows is 50 days of digital chaos that makes international headlines. May 29th, Sony Pictures is breached, exposing passwords for 1 million user accounts. The hack reveals Sony stored passwords in unencrypted plain text, a security failure so egregious it justifies LOL's claim to be exposing corporate negligence. June 3rd, PBS is defaced after airing a documentary the group disliked with a fake news story claiming Tupac Shakur is alive and living in New Zealand. The media goes wild. June 13th, LOL hacks the US Senate website, dumping databases and mocking government security. They're untouchable, or so it seems. The operations escalate. Nintendo gets hit. The CIA website goes down. Arizona law enforcement systems are breached in protest of immigration policies, with officers' emails leaked. Each hack is accompanied by theatrical press releases mocking security experts and celebrating technical skill. Anonymous veterans watch with mixed feelings. Lulk is getting results but also attention, dangerous attention. Behind the scenes, the crew operates like a tight-knit family. Sabu mentors tflow, praising his technical contributions. They discuss targets, share exploits, coordinate timing for maximum impact. For Mustafa, now 16, this is validation. He's part of something historic. Working alongside hackers he admires, he doesn't notice that Sabu sometimes disappears from chats for hours, doesn't question why certain operations seem to fizzle out. Can't possibly imagine that every word he types is being forwarded to an FBI task force in Manhattan. On June 26th, LulzSec announces it's disbanding after exactly 50 days. We're done. The farewell message reads, but the FBI is just getting started. June 7th, 2011, 9:23 p.m. The FBI Cyber Division has been tracking Sabu for months, correlating IP addresses, monitoring chat patterns, building a case. When agents knock on Hector Monsegu's door in Manhattan, he answers calmly. He's been expecting this. Inside the apartment, his 3 children are sleeping, ages 6, 4, and 2. The agents already know everything. His real name, his hacks, his role in Anonymous and LOL. They present him with a choice that isn't really a choice at all. The charges are devastating. Computer intrusion conspiracy, computer hacking, conspiracy, aggravated identity theft. Each count carries years in federal prison. Stack them together, and Hector is looking at over 124 years. The agents lay it out clinically. He'll die in prison. His nieces and nephew, already abandoned by their parents, will enter the foster care system, split up, probably lost in the system. Everything he sacrificed to keep them together will be for nothing, unless the word hangs in the air. Unless he cooperates, complete cooperation, immediate cooperation, work as an FBI informant, help them identify and arrest other hackers, wear a wire in IRC, continue operations under FBI supervision. Lead them to the bigger fish. Anti-Seek Anonymous Leadership, LulzSec members. Hector thinks of his children to sleep in the next room. He thinks of tflow, barely 16, so brilliant and naive. He thinks of Topiary, Kayla, all the hackers who trust him. The decision takes less than an hour. He signs the cooperation agreement that same night. No lawyer present, no time to think it through. Just a father making a split-second calculation. His children's future versus everyone else's. The FBI agents smile. They've just landed the biggest informant in activist history. From this moment on, Sabu works for them. By morning, he's back online acting like nothing happened. Where were you? Someone asks in IRC. Family stuff, Sabu types. I'm back now. The FBI supervisor reads the chat over his shoulder, nodding approval. Operation Unmask has begun. For the next 9 months, every conversation, every operation, every new recruit Sabu encounters will be documented and forwarded to federal prosecutors. Nobody suspects a thing. The FBI's instructions are simple: act normal, continue participating in operations, maintain credibility, recruit new targets, report everything. For Hector Monsegur, this means living split between two realities: father by day, informant by night, and always pretending to be the activists he used to be. The psychological toll is immediate and crushing. In IRC channels, Sabu continues mentoring hackers, knowing each interaction builds the FBI's case. When tflow shares a new exploit, Sabu praises him publicly while privately forwarding the details to his FBI handler. When Anonymous plans operations, Sabu helps coordinate, then reports the targets, letting the FBI decide which attacks to allow and which to quietly sabotage. Some operations proceed because the FBI wants intelligence on participants. Others mysteriously fail, victims secretly warned or systems patched hours before attacks. The hackers notice nothing suspicious. Sabu's reputation remains untarnished. The FBI provides increasing technical resources. Sabu's apartment becomes an unofficial bureau outpost. Government-issued laptops alongside his old equipment. FBI techs occasionally visiting under cover of darkness. His handlers meet him in cars, parks, always careful to avoid being spotted. They demand detailed reports. Who's planning what? Which hackers have useful skills, where vulnerabilities exist in corporate and government systems. Hector provides everything. He has no choice. His family's freedom depends on complete cooperation. The operations continue through summer and fall 2011. Stratfor, a private intelligence firm, gets breached on Christmas Eve. Credit card numbers stolen, emails leaked. The FBI watches, documents, builds cases. When new hackers join anonymous operations, Sabu cultivates relationships, drawing them into conversations that FBI analysts dissect for evidence. He becomes a hunter, pretending to be hunted. In his apartment, the dissonance is stark. His nephew takes his first steps, while Hector types messages that will send teenagers to prison. His nieces do homework at the kitchen table, while he wears a wire during Skype calls with international hackers. Some nights after putting the kids to bed, Hector sits alone with the weight of what he's doing. He's betraying people who trusted him, destroying lives to save his own family. The FBI agents remind him constantly he's doing the right thing, protecting society, helping catch criminals. But when he types messages to tflow, encouraging the kids' technical growth while documenting everything for prosecutors, Hector knows exactly what he is. The question is whether he can live with it. March 6, 2012, 6:00 a.m. EST. The coordinated arrests happen simultaneously across time zones, a precision operation months in planning. In London, Metropolitan Police raid Mustafa Al-Bassam's home, seizing computers and arresting the 16-year-old on conspiracy charges. In Shetland, Scotland, officers arrest 18-year-old Jake Davis, topiary, LOL's public spokesman. In Doncaster, another British hacker goes down. Chicago, San Francisco, Ireland, FBI and international law enforcement execute search warrants and make arrests based on evidence Sabu provided. The operation scope is staggering. Over a dozen targets, multiple countries, perfect synchronization. The indictments are devastating. Mustafa faces charges that could bring years in prison: conspiracy to commit computer hacking, unauthorized access to protected computers. The evidence against him is overwhelming. Chat logs, technical details, IP addresses, all meticulously documented by the FBI through Sabu's cooperation. In interrogation rooms across 3 continents, arrested hackers ask the same bewildered questions. How did they know? How did they connect us? The answers come within hours. March 6, 2012, 100 p.m. EST. The New York Times breaks the story with a headline that stuns the hacking world. Informant's role in hacker arrests revealed. LOL leader was working for the FBI. The underground explodes. Anonymous channels fill with rage, disbelief, and paranoia. Sabu, respected, trusted. Sabu was an informant for 9 months. Every operation potentially compromised. Every conversation recorded. Every new recruit potentially entrapped. The betrayal cuts deeper because of who Sabu was: a mentor, a father figure, someone who preached solidarity and trust. Hackers who considered him family now realize they were targets. The FBI releases details. Over 300 cyber attacks prevented, dozens of hackers identified, terabytes of evidence collected. Hector Monsegur provided it all. In London, Mustafa sits in a holding cell processing the betrayal. The hacker who encouraged his skills, praised his contributions, made him feel valued, all while building a federal case against him. He's 16 years old, facing prison, his academic future in jeopardy. The prosecution has everything, his own words typed trustingly to someone he thought was an ally. The FBI's operation is being hailed as a masterpiece of cyber law enforcement, but for the hackers arrested, it's something else entirely, a fundamental betrayal that will reshape how underground communities handle trust. Sabu's name becomes synonymous with informant. In hacking circles, it's the ultimate insult, and Hector Xavier, sitting in FBI protective custody, has to live with what he's done and who he's become. May 25, 2012. Hector Xavier Monsegur stands before Judge Loretta Prisca in Manhattan federal court facing sentencing for his crimes. The charges were serious: conspiracy, computer intrusion, hacking offenses that carried over 124 years combined. The prosecution recommends leniency, unprecedented leniency. The FBI testifies that Sabu's cooperation was invaluable, preventing over 300 cyber attacks, identifying dozens of hackers, and providing intelligence that reshaped how law enforcement approaches cybercrime. Judge Prisca sentencing him to 7 months' time served plus 1 year supervised release. He walks out of court that day, a free man with 3 children waiting at home. The hacking community's response is venomous. Sabu became an informant to save his family, understandable to some, unforgivable to others. He later explains his decision publicly. "I had to protect my kids, that's what fathers do." He works in computer security now, speaking occasionally about his experiences living quietly in New York. Some see him as a cautionary tale about the real-world consequences of digital crimes. Others see him as the ultimate traitor, a father who sacrificed other people's children to save his own. The debate never fully resolves. Mustafa Al-Bassam's path diverges dramatically. Convicted in 2013 at age 17, he receives a 20-month suspended sentence and 300 hours of community service, lenient because of his age and his cooperation with authorities. The real transformation happens after. Banned from internet access during his sentence, Mustafa returns to academics with renewed focus. He enrolls at King's College London, studies computer science, and earns his undergraduate degree, then a master's, then a PhD at University College London, focusing on blockchain technology and cryptocurrency security. By 2020, Dr. Mustafa Al-Bassam is a respected researcher, publishing papers on Ethereum scalability and co-founding Chainspace, a blockchain startup. He speaks at conferences, contributes to open-source projects, and becomes exactly what he could have been without the detour through crime: a brilliant technologist making legitimate contributions to computer science. The LulzSec story becomes legend, a cautionary tale about trust, betrayal, and consequences in the digital age. Sabu and tflow represent 2 roads away from cybercrime. One through cooperation and survival, one through redemption and transformation. Both paid prices, both found ways forward. The question that remains unanswered is whether Sabu's choice destroying young lives to save his family was justified, necessary, or simply human. The FBI got their arrests, the hackers got their sentences, and somewhere in New York, a father lives with the knowledge that he betrayed teenagers to protect his children. History will judge whether it was worth it. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to Arxis for more deep dives into the world's biggest cybercrimes. Check out this next investigation, and let me know in the comments what